Bikrios Harbe. They want to determine, the way now we go up to the Torah. We're called up to the Torah, and you don't read the Torah yourself. There is a Baal Korah in most places, but it wasn't that way. Till relatively recently, a person was called to the Torah, and he would read. He knew the Torah well enough to read it. He's not seeing it for the first time. He can read Hebrew, and he would say a blessing before his portion and a blessing afterwards. And there were 7 portions, and 7 men would be called up to read, and each one would read his portion. And then there was an 8th portion for the one who read the Mapter, the part from Tanakh that has a focus on the Parsha, it has a connection. And so he asked over here that what's the din? Is it permissible to read the portion with, there's one portion with 48 curses, and there's one portion with 96 curses. So he wants to know, can you break them up and call people to the Torah, and they make the bracha before and after, or do you have to read like we do? And he's not even called up. Who reads the Tochacho in Parsha, the 48 clothes in Kisisa, and then 96 clothes in the Parsha before Nitzavim, before Rosh Hashanah. Anyway, so this is what he wants to discuss, what the Midrash wants to discuss now. So look, Midrash says, okay, well, I'll tell you, you're asking me a question. Can you read the clause as individual paragraphs or sections? You don't read it, divide them into 7. And so he says here, Kach Shanu Chachamim. So have the rabbis learned in the Talmud. Ein mafsikim beklolos. You don't interrupt the klolos with calling up different men to read different klolos, or to have the reader, and in our time now read 4 of the men and then call up 7 men. You don't. Ein mafsikim beklolos. You don't interrupt. You read them straight. Amar Rabbi Shiur bar Amar Rabbi Shiur bar Gamza. Lefi she'koshu. We know why you don't? Because there's a pasuk in Mishlei that says, Musar Hashem b'ni al timos. My son, don't deprecate the counsel, the rebuke, my rebuke, Musar Hashem, the Musar of God, the rebuke of God. Don't despise it. Don't make it, there's a Yiddish word that comes from this timos, nimus. Don't make it lowly. Valtikos bitochachto. Don't cut in its in the in the in the reproach. Don't cut it. Read it straight. Don't cut it, and that's why you can't cut it when you read it. Read it straight. Al tasa esatochachos kututsin. Don't make the reproaches. And that applies to the clothes, the curses, sections. Don't cut it. The whole thing goes straight. Ela ata kore es kulam. One person reads them all. You don't call up separate people, and you'll see why right away. Ela ata kore es kulam. You read them all. So that's one reason why, because it says it's a scriptural Tanakh pasuk in Mishlei that says, read them straight. Don't deprecate them, make them they're holy in their direction to you, but read them straight. Then the next in Midrash comes along and says, Davracher, Lama ein mafsikim beklolos. Why don't we interrupt or just like we do in every other reading of the Torah? There's Sheni, Shlishi, Revi'i, until Shvi, the 7 Parshas, then after. She said, but why do we do it in the Tochachos that we read in the Torah? And there's one Parsha in Vayikra, and that has 48 clothes. You got to read them straight. And the one that has 96 clothes, you got to read them straight. Why? Amar Rabbi Yoshua Diskinin, B'Shem Rabbi Levi, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, says, Ani kasafti al kvodi. I wrote the Torah. I wrote about my presence in the Torah. Imo Anochi Batsara. This is in Tehillim. I'm with them in their tzara, their tzaras, in their bad times, punishments. Their tzara, what a tzara is, a tight time, a difficult time. And God writes, I'm with them during their difficulties. I feel their difficulties. I'm with them. Why do I give them the clothes? We'll see. I'm with them in their tzaras, in the tochachos that are read. Ain't truas adin. It's not proper that ye bonai miskalim, the curses are aimed against all my children. It's not proper that they should be cursed. Bani mitborach. Hey, you're gonna cut up the 48 and 96 kolos that are read in the chapters. And have people come up and say, Baruch Hu es Hashem Baruch, bless God. They're being cursed, and I'm being blessed by them. That doesn't make sense. It's not right that the script of the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, there are 96 verses of curses, and I'm with them in these hard times of curses. It's not right that we should interrupt and make 7 portions out of them and have a Jew who's being cursed say a bracha before and then a bracha after his aliyah. So that's why we don't cut. And this is what the Midrash continues to say. Ketzad im yikru es hatochachos krios harbe. If you read the curses, a number of paragraphs, a number of portions, 7 portions. So if you read them, a number of readings, individual readings, not one whole reading. Ein krui v'krui, there's not any reading. She'ein mevarech, stay pamim. Every reader who is called up is going to make a bracha before and after. The Kohen who goes first, he'll make a bracha, Baruch Hu es Hashem HaBorach, and a bracha after, Baruch Atah Hashem, Keinu Melech Olam, Hashem Masel Lanu Torah Emes, that bracha. And there'll be 14 brachas made on me. And in each one of the chapters that they're reading, there are curses on them. No, I'm with them. And it's not nice that I be blessed and they be cursed. Now God makes a statement. Rabbanan. He just says there, Ella Echa Torah Eskula. One reader reads the whole portion of the 96 follows. It's a very long part. Where a portion usually takes 2-3 minutes to be read. These clothes, it goes about 10 to 12 minutes. Rabbanan Amru, the rabbis say, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God said, Lo lira'osem nosati lehem brachas v'klos. I didn't give it for your punishment, for your means bad, to bring upon you a bad feeling, negative. No. Lola, I didn't give it to you to reproach you, to curse you. No. I'm giving you the reason why I gave you two things: brachas, blessings, and clothes, and curses. Why did I give them to you? Why are they in the Torah? To tell you. Ela lahodiacha eza derech tova. What is a good way? Sheyibcharu isa, that you should choose this. Kisei sheyitlu schar, that you should, get reward, live the right way, and you'll draw down reward on yourself. Schar. And that we read in the first words of the chapter. Minayin, min mashekarinan be'inyan. What we read in this Indian, this subject matter of Re'eh. The first one, Re'eh, Anochi Nosei Lepnechem Bracha B'Klolo. And later on, God says, I give you two ways. You have two ways. And I'm giving you the nice way, the wholesome way, the living way, the way that you should live. Bracha. And the bad way, you should stay away. And I tell you what to pick. Ubachat and b'chaim. One is life and one is death. Choose life. I entered this the commandment and telling you what you should choose. But if you're gonna be a fool and choose the wrong way of life, then you're gonna suffer. And this is the name of the game on this life that we are living. We are living in the world of choices. The next world is the world of consequences for our choices. And Gimel is a very telling parsha in Midrash. Davar Acher. It says, Re'ei Anochi. I'm giving you these choices. Omar Rabbi Elazar. Kisha Misha Omar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Hadavar Hazeh. Re'ei Anochi Nosein Lechem Bracha V'Klala. Sinai, and he gave this from Sinai with the whole rest of the Torah. But also Shah, right then, there's a pasuk that says as follows. And this is what happened after God said, I'm giving you choices. Choose this, you get good. Choose that, you get bad. Mitnei elyon lo seisei hara'os v'hatoiv. There's a very instructive, but sort of not understandable in a way, because in this is in Job, this pasuk that says, "From above will not come bad or good." In other words, if you're struck with good, it once God gave the Torah, gave the 248 say that these things are good, and the 365 don'ts. So don't blame God for anything that happens, because it's automatic. It's going to happen because I'm telling you, as your manufacturer, as the one who made you, I'm telling you, these 248 things are good for you. And these 365 things are bad for you. And it's not a punishment, all these. There are consequences. You get hurtful consequences from doing bad. It happens by itself. That's not coming from heaven. It's coming from the way I set up life. But this triggers hurt the don'ts. Like I've told you many times. If mommy tells little Sorella, who admires the fire in the fireplace, and she'd like to touch it and feel it, but mommy tells her, don't stick your hand in the fire, you're going to get burnt. But she admires the fire and she'd like to feel it. She doesn't know what burning means. Never been burnt before. And mommy looks away. Little Sorrel sticks her hands in the fire and, ooh, she burned terribly. Now, was that a punishment? Mommy told her, don't stick the hand in the fire. Tati, our Father in heaven, told us, don't eat pork. Don't have illicit sexual relations. Don't steal somebody else's item. And those will bring bad consequences. They trigger bad happenings. They're connected. So God begs, don't. And the punishment is the consequence. The good things, 248 things to do, that bring good happenings. So that's what Job says. It doesn't come from heaven that you're being punished. It comes from yourself. You're pressing the bad buttons. You're doing the wrong things, and immediately those wrong things are connected with consequences. Don't put your hand in fire, you're going to get burnt. And you're told that before. But you're attracted to fire, you want to do it. And so you stick your hand in the fire and you get burnt. Now, you eat a piece of ham. You're not going to choke on it. It's very rarely that happens, You don't feel the bad that's going to hit you, but it messes up your life. That's the consequence. When you don't keep Shabbos, Shabbos is made for your good, as we learned in the last week's chapter. It's the day that you eat better, and you drink better, and you dress better, and house is clean, and you do things together. and you don't keep the Shabbos, you're messed up. The good news is that there's a mitzvah of tshuva. It's one of the 248 dues. And that means if you mess up, you can ask God to forgive you. And God is a forgiving God. And I won't do it again. You know, and you can get it up out of your life. The Gemara says, in the place where a Baal Tshuva, somebody who turned around his life from doing every kind of sin that he looked at as pleasurable, therefore he did it, but you know, it killing him in a spiritual way, you know, and he gets the message that he's been living very bad. And he turns it around. He asks, God, forgive me. I'm gonna take on what you said is the good way of life. And he takes it on. So he's called the Baal Tshuva, one who returned. And the Gemara says, "B'makom shebal tshuva I made afilo tzadikim gemurim einan olim sham." Even a complete tzaddik is not in the world to come uh, able to stand on the high level where this Baal Tshuva, and because he overcame sin. The Tzaddik Gomer never did sin. So in the long run, he's better off. He never had the wounds and burdens of sin. But this guy who did Tshuva and overcame that, in one respect, he's standing in a higher world, even than the Tzaddik Gomer is, who never sinned. So again, from the time the mitzvahs were given, the Torah was given, the 613 mitzvahs were given. Every one of these mitzvahs, the do's and the don'ts, are connected, and right away, right away the consequence happens. If it's a good act that you did, boom, you get the good consequence. If it's a bad act, you get it's automatic. It's not sent down to you from heaven. It's there. You brought it on yourself. That's what he says. Miti Elyon lo hara osvato. From heaven, the good and the bad, the good happenings and the bad happenings will and don't come down. It says lo hara os vato, the good things and bad things. Ella me'eleha, they come by themselves. Hara os hara. Bad comes to people who do bad. Tova, and the good things happen to people who do good. Now I get asked the question, but you see that people who do good have bad things happen to them, and people who do bad things have good coming to them. This is in the next life, which is a fundamental belief. these you get having done mitzvahs, your consequences are good consequences, and you have only good in that next life. And if you did bad and you didn't do tshuva on what you did bad, you're subject to punishment and the consequences. And so, like it says in okay, others that the reward for the good for the tzaddik comes in the next world. This world is too narrow to hold a tremendous reward. We don't have the sensitivity to know what life is going to be in the world to come. We know there's a world to come. Remember, we go back all the way to Bereshit, where the question was at you, why did God create the world with a base? First letter of the Torah is Bereshit, in the beginning. And the Aleph came with a complaint to God. God, why did you create the world with a second letter base? Why did you create with me? And God tells him, well, I wanted to create the world with a base because base is the first letter of bracha, a blessing. But you'll have your time. You'll be the letter with which I appear on the mountain in front of the Jews and tell them, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am God your God. Anochi starts with the Aleph. But another thing that God says, why did I create the world with a base? Because creation was two worlds simultaneously together at the same time. I created this world. I created the next world. This world is called the world of falsehood, and the next world is called the world of truth. So all those who had terrible experiences in this world, they are like they are as nothing. You know that it will be realized in the next world. Like talking about the Holocaust, the terrible experiences, we know that. But all these 6 million who were cremated, who were burned, whatever, and shot, they are complete again in the next world. And they're called Kedoshim. They're holy, even though the person didn't live a holy life. But he's being killed because he's a Jew. And a Jew is, God's representative. And that's why they're killing him, because he's God's representative. And he might not even know that he's God's representative. But Hitler, Yamakshimu, no. So in the next world, he's complete. We can't sense this, but that's in the information that's given to us, and we're in the Torah.
I see we have Eric Rothberg with us. Hello, Eric.
Hi, Jonathan.
We should have your phone number, Eric. Is there a number I could write down for you?
Yes, it's 701.
Yes.
219.
219.
1464.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And how is Ed doing, your father?
He's all right. We're doing okay. I had a bad accident in February, so I've just haven't really been doing a lot normally, so kind of still recovering. So
Sorry to hear, but we'll get back to the class now. But it was a delight to see you here.
yeah, it's great seeing you, and send my regards to Anne.
And thank you, thank you. Will
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Eric, you have to thank God. However, you thank God you're here, you're alive. And certainly the accident was bad, but thank God you're here and
Yeah.
you're recovering.
Thank you,
Okay.
Rabbi.
Uh, so now he brings him back, and base. I'm going back to the second we learned Aleph, and now he brings a pasuk. Shimu va'azinu al tigbu. In a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, listen to the Torah, get the message, but al tigbu. Don't feel superior. Sadly, when somebody learns a lot of Torah, it gives them a very good feeling and very superior to others, and he becomes arrogant or conceited. Hey, that you got to keep away from. Unfortunately, some people who become Talmidei Chachamim don't keep it to themselves, and they flout around and they're very haughty because they feel they know more than the people, and they're not. From learning Torah, you're not supposed to become haughty. Just the opposite. You're supposed to become humble. Omar Rabbi Chuma, Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, said, Shimu l'divrei Torah. Listen to the words of Torah. V'al tedabru gavhus. Don't speak high. Gavhus. Don't speak haughtily. Haughtily means superiority. Don't make yourself like a superior. Ki Hashem diver. God spoke, and if you listen, you get the message. You'll be humble before God. Where did God say this? Not to be conceited, not to get a lofty feeling from learning Torah. In the pasuk in Mishlei, Torah Hashem kol gvalei, despised by God is every gvalei, big heart. Doesn't mean in the good way. Gvalei, somebody who feels that he's higher than everybody else. So To'avas Hashem, that which is despised by God, is called Valev. Anybody who is a conceited guy, feels bigger than everybody else. That is despicable to God. Here, I'll give you another lesson, he says, the Midrash says. Shimru l'divrei Torah, listen to the words of Torah. Al tagbia es oznecha mishmoad divrei Torah. Listen to divrei Torah and don't become haughty from hearing words of Torah. Somebody can become haughty. I learned so much Torah. Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai says in the Midrash, "Im lamדת Torah harbe." If you learn a lot of Torah, tzaddik beinecha, don't look at yourself as a tzaddik. Kilakatsa tzarta. That's why you were created, to learn a lot of Torah. So I'll teach something that don't be haughty in you. Don't think yourself, oh, I learned so much Torah. Would you say, oh, I ate so many blintzes. I put out so many fires. I did so many good things with my hands. Don't be boastful about it. You were created for that. You were created to help others. Don't look at yourself as a tzaddik. You ain't created to be like this. You're doing yourself the biggest favor. You got to listen to Torah all the time when you have a chance to learn Torah. Because God has so spoken. And where did he say this? Here comes a very important teaching from also from a Mishle. Meser Osno Mishmoa Torah. Somebody who has an opportunity to learn Torah and he goes away and reads a newspaper, comes into shul and there's a table full of guys who are listening to a rabbi who is teaching Torah and they're learning Torah, but he's not interested. He came here to say Kaddish. And the time while they're sitting there learning, he's got a newspaper that he's reading. That's bad. He is Meser Osno Mishmoa Torah. He takes away his ears from learning Torah. You come into any time there's a conversation going on by Torah, go listen into that conversation. Go listening to the Torah. Every opportunity that you have Torah, take that chance. Don't go away from it. Torah is healing. Torah gives you help and it gives you understanding. So remember this pasuk. Meser Osno Mishmoa Torah. Somebody who removes his ears from hearing Torah, oh, he ain't going to go over to that table with the class learning Torah. He's going to go to a corner and drink a cup of coffee and read the paper. Gam filoso toeva. It says terrible consequences. He's coming to shul to say Kaddish, and he don't want to listen to any Torah, and he goes to someplace else. His prayer is no good. His prayer is also an abomination. Here, Torah is to be an introduction to prayer, help you with your prayer. You ran away from listening to Torah. Hey, if you went and got a sefer to learn, you want to learn your. Okay, you're sitting and learning. That's you didn't remove your ears from hearing Torah. You just picked another subject in Torah. They're learning Agadah and Yaakov, and you want to learn Chassidus, or you want to learn Mishnah Brura. That's not taking years away from Torah. You're just learning another subject. Although there is a plus in enlarging the class of learners, and but if you again, this doesn't apply to somebody who takes a sefer and sits and learns. Might have to remove himself into a further place in the shul because he don't want to be distracted by the teachings of what's going on by the table of learning. So now there's later on in Devarim, and in this parsha it says, "Ki yachiv Hashem Elokecha es gvulcha, kasher divrei lecha," when God will extend the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael. V'amarta oichlo basar, ki tava na'afshi lecho basar. I want to eat the meat and not, we don't want to eat just in the Michigan. And so God says, okay, go ahead, according to you, with all your appetite, eat meat. And then this part, it goes to say, tells how, in what situations you can eat the meat. Only in the temple, in the Mishkan, and one we can eat at home. In every instance has to be shchita. It has to be animal, slaughtered al pi halacha with it under the neck, by the neck, and blood has to be removed. But anyhow, it means that things God will widen your boundaries. Wait. Tiarchim. I'll gotta pick it up. My phone here. Okay. So there will be, when Mashiach comes, there'll be a big widening of Israel. But here it says, when you will widen the area of Eretz Israel, so it gives lessons in and good things that'll happen to you, how you deal with them. But here in the Midrash, he brings the Matan Adam Yachiv Lo. A person who gives to Matan Adam, a person who's a giver, Yachiv Lo, that will, it'll expand his life. He'll be able to give more. He'll live a better life. Yachiv, right? That means, there's two situations in, where you can be in life. You can be somebody who lives, what we say in Yiddish, very verquetscht, very squeezed in a little place, and he's a miser and won't give them money and doesn't give charity. And then there's a person who gives. And it says here in Mishlei, in Proverbs, that Matan Adam Yachiv Lo, if you're a giver, what you give expands your life. Lifnei Gdolim Yan Chen will place him and together with the Gedolim, the real rich people, the Gedolim, the great people, that you get it into the circle of the greats. So, my Ari can bring a story. What does it mean? Matan Adam, what the man gives, expands him. So, Maisa, the rabbi tells a story. Maisa Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, both Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, Shiyatzo, Ligvais, Le'esek, Mitzvahs, Rabosenu. They went to raise money to give it to yeshivas. So this, they went to get money for things that the rabbis do, and they give it to the rabbis who can, like you give to koilos. The rabbis should be able to sit and learn. That was also in their collecting. But and all the things that were the tzedakahs that the rabbis give to them, they went out. These two rabbis, Rabbi Yeshua, Shiatzu Ligvais, they went to collect Le'esek Mitzvahs, Rabboseinu. Holcho L'Chel Shel Antiochia. They went to Antioch, name of a place. V'haya Sham Adam, there was a guy there. V'haya Nikra Abba Yudin. There was a guy called Abba Yudin. Remember that name? And he was now ani. He was a poor man. He was wealthy once, but he lost his money. Ro Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Sheholchu, Ligvai Sham. This Abba Yudin saw the rabbis walking in the streets, and he always used to give them, but now he didn't have. V'hitmin atzmo mitneihem. He hid himself from the rabbis. And he went upstairs in his loft and hid himself there from the rabbis, so they shouldn't see him. Yom Usnaim. He kept himself in his house. He didn't go out a day. In 2 days, he hid from the rabbis who were collecting because he didn't have what to give him. Below Yarad Lashuk, he didn't go down to the market. So his wife sees that he's hiding himself in the house. Amalovisto. His wife said to him, Nitnema lo Yarad Lashuk. Why didn't you go down to the market? Already, Hare Shnei Yamim. You haven't gone out. You haven't left the house in 2 days. You need to go down to the marketplace to get us some vital vegetables and fruits. Amrullah, he tells his wife, Rabboseinu bo ligvais le'esek mitzvahs. The rabbis came, and I know them, and they came here to collect for the mitzvahs that the Torah tells tzedakah. They ain't shipper biyadi. I can't go out here because I don't have enough. Ain't shipper biyadi. We came lamb. I don't have anything to give them, so I don't want them to see me. Bani misbayesh leirei lashuk. You ask me why I don't go down to the marketplace. I'll run into these rabbis. I'm embarrassed. Ani misbayesh to go down to the shuk. Ishtoi shahoisa oheves es hamitzvahs. Hey, this was a good couple because they both love to do mitzvahs and get mitzvahs done. And this wife, Abba Yuden's wife, she loved the mitzvahs. And so Amrlo. So she liked the mistress to do mistress to give zakah. Amrlo, she said to her husband Yabiyudin, Loni Steyer Lonu Soda Achas, don't we have even one field left? Machor Chesya, sell half the field. They say no, so go ahead, sell half the field, then you'll have money. They buy people bought and sold the fields quickly. It went fast. Go down, sell the field, get some money, and give the rabbis who are circulating in the shuk, in the marketplace, to collect. So she said again, Loni Steyer Lanu. Okay, we've lost a lot of money, and we lost a lot of property, but don't we have one field left? Sodechas, Mochor, Chetcha, sell half the one field that we do have left. The Cain also land, give them the money. Holach Vosakain. He listened to his wife and he did that. Mochar also Chetzi Sodech. He sold half the field. Chamisha Zehuvin. He got 5 golden bars for it, for the field. But nothing of some the rabbis say no. And he gave it to the rabbis. For Omar, he told the rabbis now he had something to give them, so he appeared before them, he wasn't hiding. But Omar, look at what he says to them. He's Palulu Alai, rabbis, pray for me. He's Palulu Allah. So they prayed for him right there in front of him. They gave him a bracha. V'amalo, hamakom yemala chesro necha. That's the bracha. Hamakom, the omnipotent one, God, should fill what you lost, your losses. Okay, that's the Nosach HaBracha. Hamakom, the one who is every place, the omnipotent, the God Almighty, Yamalach Necha, he should fill all that you lost in your down time. What you experienced, that's why you went to hide. Because you didn't want to see us. Because you didn't have what to give us. Now you did go. And you sold a field and you gave us the money you got from the field, and we appreciate it very much. And here's you asked us to pray for you. The rabbi, so you go to Rebbe's and brachas to pray for you, and the holy men. So they gave him this bracha. Hamako Yemala Chesro Necha. God should fill all what you lost. Halchu lahen Rabosenu Ligbais b'makom acher. The rabbis went to collect in a different place. Also, Abba Yudan Chorash Bechatzi Yisodeh. And Abba Yudan went to plow in he just sold half of his field. He didn't have the whole field. So he went to see what he could get out of his the field, the half a field that he didn't sell. Umatza Sham Sima Gedoyla. And he found in that in that he was charash, he was digging, he was plowing, and he found a treasure in his other half of the field that he and it was could have been a bag of money that somebody left in there a long time ago, and it was plowed over, and now he found it, and he became very rich from what he found. Again, Chorash B'Chatzi Sodeh. He went as a plow in the half field. Umatza Sham Sima Gedolah. He found a great bundle of money. Benashe Usher. He became a usher. You know what usher is? A wealthy man. Benashe Usher. He was a bigger, wealthy man. He became wealthier than he ever was, even before this, when he started losing his money. But he was a wealthy man before. But now, from what he found, and it couldn't be identified, so he kept it, and he became wealthier than he ever was. When the rabbis came back, also Mokum, they came back a month later, a couple Amru Echad. They said, Chayecha. They wanted to Hamidenu in Abba Yudin. Where is Abba Yudin? Bring us to Abba Yudin. Amar Lahem. Also East, the guy they found, that came back to the city months later to collect again. And he said, where's Abba Yudin? So Amalem Oso Haish, the guy, told him, the one that they asked, where's Abba Yudin? Where can I find Abba Yudin? He was a famous man. People knew where he hung out or where he might be. Amr so this guy answers them, Ein anu mevakshin ella shelo yeda she'abarnu kan. All we want that he shouldn't know that we came here, below Sha'alnu, asked Shlomo, hey, we just want to say, how are you? We don't want to know that we came here and we didn't ask for him. He's just a good friend of ours. Yada Abba Yudin came, he became aware that these rabbis, these collectors, are back, and they inquired about him, and this information got to him that they're in the marketplace. Uboy Islam. And he came to them in the marketplace. V'nosam lam elef zehuvim. He gave them 1,000 gold pieces. Amalam. He said to the rabbis, also saw tefillah payros. Remember I asked you to give us a tefillah? And you prayed for us, and you said, Hashem Yimalach Esrenka, God should replenish whatever you lost. Well, your prayers bore fruit. Also saw Tfilaschem Peiros. Amrulo. Why did we give you such a blessing? Af anu yinu yodim. We knew b'ma'asecha hatovim, your good deeds. V'asinu oischa reish peret. And so we gave you a big blessing. Karu olav Rabosenu. Our rabbis called Rabbi Yudin. This is the meaning of the pasuk that we quoted before. Matan Adam Yarshiv Lo. A man's gift to the tzedakah will give him Yarshiv, will make him wide. He'll have it'll make him not stretched, not living in a miserly way, where he's small, he has no room. But if he gives tzedakah, it'll give you a mansion. It'll widen your whole life. That's what they darshan. Matan Adam Yachiblo. It'll put you by the big people. So, and that's what happened. They said, we made you big, and now you can be in a society of all the big people. Very interesting story here also, that the Lashon of the Midrash. These are stories about people who gave tzedakah. Davar Acher, Ma'aser B'Rish Lakish, famous rabbi, the son-in-law of Rabbi Yochanan. Ma'aser B'Rish Lakish Shahalach Libatzra, went to a place called Batzra. Yasham Adam Echad, there was a guy there in Basra. They called him Abin Ramah, Abin the cheater. Hey, so the Midrash, listen to how the Midrash, why do they call him Abin the cheater? And so, below Shahaya Ramoy Chas v'Sholem, not that he really was a cheater, everybody knew that, but that's the way he made people give money. Ela Shahaya Merame b'mitzvahs. He cheated, or he was a trickster. Shahaya Alcohol Posek. The whole congregation, when there was a charitable mitzvah facing them, challenging them, they all contributed. Ba'achar posek the keneged kol hakol. And then this Avin Ramoah, he gave the sum of what all of them gave together. He matched it. So why do they call him a cheater? Because he at first wouldn't give up, and they have to make more of it to meet the sum. And then after they got the sum, he doubled it. So he wasn't a cheater, he used his not giving in the beginning as a way to raise money. So look what, how the Midrash says it. Below Shahaya Ramoy Chas v'Sholem. Not that he really was a cheater, a Ramoy, a fooler. Ramoy is a trickster. He tricked people. He tricked the congregation. Ela Shahaya Merame b'mitzvahs. In doing mitzvahs, he fooled. He didn't act straight. He acted is crooked or cheating. Shahaya koho posek b'achar posek keneged kol alcohol. And he gave, I believe in one of the Portion says that he didn't give in the beginning, and the people felt that therefore they had to give more because he's a wealthy man, didn't participate. And then after they raised all the money, he participated, all right. He gave a sum equal to what all they collected. And they are collected because he said he's not going to give. And then he gave. So he cheated he tricked them. And for doing that, not Rish Lakish, but Shivu HL Etzlo. Rish Lakish was a big rabbi, and He sat him down next to him, the big Rebbe. As if you imagine somebody coming and sitting you down for what you did right next to the Rebbe. Bekara love, and how did he get next to the Rebbe? Matan Adam Yachiv Lo. The gift of a person will give him expansion. Belief the Gedolim Yaricheno. It'll put him next to the Gedolim, the great people. Okay. This ends off by Omar Rebbe Abuha, Mali Lamaka Makra. Why are you learning from another place? Learn this lesson that giving expands. Learn from the place that's right near it in the Torah. Maksiv Lamaila, what is it? What do we read above in the Parsha? Hisham Lacha Pen Tazo Vesalevi. Be careful that you not leave the Levi alone without giving him all that he gets, the Meiser that he's supposed to get. What does it say there after, yet you should give to the Levi, give him what he needs, it says 10%. Ki Arshiv Elokecha Eskebulcha Kasha Diver God, your God will widen your areas like he spoke to, and that's because you'll be giving. So giving expands your vistas, expands your life. And so it's obvious what the rabbis are telling us in the Midrash, that tzedakah is very important. Okay, it's almost 11. It's 10:48. So I wish you all a good Shabbos. And I have a tremendous story that I read maybe years ago. I told it to you, but a tremendous story. And if we have time, I think if you'd like to hear it, I'll tell you the story. If you stay on till I finish the story. It's a Rebbe story. It happened in 1980 in different parts. So would you like to hear the story?
Let's hear it, Rabbi, yes.
Hey, I'll do it. I'll make a long story shorter. This happens to guys, Hasidim. This happens in Paris in 1983. And they worked for a company that brought produce from Eretz Yisrael to Paris. and these guys trucked it to different places, and they got a truck given by somebody, but the driver, they give the name, name is Reb Shlomo Schwartz, and he didn't check the brakes before he drove out, and he found that the brakes were terrible, faulty, and he found it out while he was driving on a bridge. And cars were stopped there. They were, once you get off the bridge, a red light, and he was driving. There was a big bridge, and he had two choices. I mean, there was no brakes, so the truck was going. He could either uh, let the car go and it would kill a lot of people ahead, or he would turn it toward the bridge and most likely go over and it with the car and drown. So of course he took that option, not to kill others, and he went and knocked the bridge, or it was a stone bridge, but he knocked it. With his car, he pushed it, but he didn't go over. Half the truck was on the bridge, and half the truck was over the water. But it didn't fall into the water. And Paris newspapers were full of that picture. Every newspaper is a miracle that the truck didn't go into the water. And the police and the engineers worked hard to get Rabbi Schwartz out of the truck because he was in the front part that was over the water. Well, they got him out. And now there was a court case because, hey, the part of the bridge that was destroyed cost thousands in French, and there was a lot of money, and there was had a court case. It was a big miracle he was alive, but he had to go to court. Who were the people in the court case? Reb Shlomo, who was driving the car, and who didn't trust it for brakes. And the company that sold it to him, why didn't they send him a truck with brakes that are working? They seem to overlook it. And if not for that great miracle, maybe tens of people would have been killed. And there was another person, the one that owned the places they bought the truck from. Not the two Jewish guys who he had brought the truck. Place that he brought it from, they sold it to him without the brakes being tested, without in the condition that it was. So there was a very wealthy man who owned that, and he was coming to make his claim. And so he came to the court also. But when he saw Rabbi Shlomo and his other Hasidic friend, in their Hasidic dress, they had beards, and he said, Your Honor, I will pay for everything for for the bridge being destroyed and the fine that you put, the judge dismissed the fine. But I'll take care of all the expenses, the court expenses, and everybody was very surprised here. This wealthy man who, well, in a way, it was his fault that he let them take that kind of a car and wasn't prepared before. But anyway, he took the whole and all these expenses was off Shlomo's head and the owner of the company, the Hudson's head. And he took the truck and brought it to a repair shop to give it back to them. And he never told them why he took the whole thing on himself. And there wasn't even a court case. 3 weeks later, he calls and he says, okay, the truck is fixed and I can pick you up your house and I'll bring you over to the truck place and you'll get the truck. So he picks him up at the place and he says, and this Shlomo Schwartz was still, experience really shook him up. And but when he heard what this guy had to say, he was all ears. Because this guy says, I'll tell you why I took the whole expense of myself. I was in the 30s, time of the Depression. I was a student in the Sorbonne, and I was in taking the math course offered there. And there was also a student, I think his name was Schneerson. He was very regal in his appearance. And he sat with, the mathematics book open on the desk, but he had a book on his lap, and he was learning from that book. And the teacher that was an anti-Semite, that's what this guy is telling Shlomo, why he paid the whole bill. He said this teacher put a problem on the board, and the teacher announced, we have a very intellectual, intelligent student here, Mr. Schneerson, and I would like to ask him to go up front and solve this problem. So it's the Rebbe when he was in Paris before when he was married already to the previous Rebbe's daughter. And he went up, and a problem that would take an hour and a half to solve, he solved it in a couple of minutes. And the teacher who wanted to embarrass him got very angry and called him a thief. Why did you steal this answer? He exploded. And the incident caused the Rebbe, to go with the professor into the administrative offices. And they were told how this professor exploded on the student, this regal-looking student, who solved the problem in a few minutes, and it's like impossible. And so he explained to the administrators who were there, the intellectual, the academic ones, the financial ones who were involved, this person, and he explained to them perfectly the whole problem. He explained to them, and he explained the problem and showed how and they were very taken by it, this intellectually, how it, and they apologized first, and they made the professor apologize for the way he talked to him. And so this was an incident that happened, but they mentioned this wealthy guy who's driving him to pick up the truck is telling him that. And this guy, the chassid, is all ears because he's telling about an incident that happened with Rebbe in the Zorban in the 30s. And he said in the 30s, they were poor and they have to earn money for being in the Zorban. So they would come, they would come very tired in the morning, and they couldn't hear the lesson. And so it was the Rebbe who was very nice to them after class, and he explained the whole lesson to them and told them the answers. And he was, he said, this wealthy guy, we weren't brought up to like Jews, but we became immediately very appreciative of this Mr. Schneer, and because of him, we passed. And he gave us the problems presented better than the teacher, the professor. And he always sat with his book on the lap and hardly listening to what was going on. So he said, for years, I wanted to show some kind of appreciation to this Mr. Searson for what he did for us. And when I saw you guys in the courtroom, and you looked like you're dressed like Sneerson with a beard and black jacket and hats. That's what I said, that this I could show. I was sure that you were his disciples, that I would pay the whole court case, and that would be my showing my appreciation, doing, for something I felt that we really owed him a lot because of his filling us in on what happened in the class and giving us the lesson, explaining it to us, and giving us the answers. We passed, and it was all because of him. And so when I saw you guys, I felt that, well, uh, I'll take care of this, and I will help Rabbi Steerson's community.
Yes.
That's the story.
Thank you. Very good, Rabbi. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Have a good Shabbos, Rabbi.
Yes, a good Shabbos, and this is Shabbos for Swedish. And there is Swedish Elul, and that's the month of Tshuva, the month that comes before Rosh Hashanah. And that's the holy month. We blow shofar every day except Shabbos. And that blowing the shofar is a wake-up call to wake us up that we should do Tshuva. Okay, so we should have a very good Shabbos and inspiring Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And
Thank you for the class.
you have Chumashes, look through this Parsha. Have a good Shabbos.
Yeah. Both too.
All too.